Well, welcome everybody. Thank you for joining us today. This is our fall 2022 information session for the Chellgren Center for Undergraduate Excellence. And we're very happy to have you here, and would like to share a little bit about our center and the Chellgren Fellows Program. So next slide. All right, so my name is Luke Bradley. I'm the Chellgren Chair and a professor in the Department of Neuroscience in the College of Medicine. And I'd like to introduce our team. So we'll go in order here. So Lynn.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us tonight. My name is Lynn Heiler, and I'm the program coordinator for the Chellgren Student Fellows Program, as well as all the other components that we have in the Chellgren Center. Thank you.
You'd think I would have learned to use Zoom. Hello, I'm Dr. Whitlow. I'm the director of the Nationally Competitive Awards program, and we work closely with the Chellgren Center and with the Cellos.
Hi, everyone. My name is Emily Sally, and I work with Dr. Whitlow in the Nationally Competitive Awards Office and also with the Chellgren Center. Glad to have you here tonight.
All right. Well, great. So just to give you a little bit of background about the center is that this is founded on an original endowment from Mr. Paul Chellgren, who is an alumnus of the University of Kentucky, who had an outstanding career in business with Ashland Chemical and Oil as the chairman there, CEO. And he founded a program here on campus through an endowment to help enrich students to achieve and academically achieve and grow professionally while their time here at the University of Kentucky. So the first class started in 2007. So since then, there's been 15 cohorts of Chellgren Student Fellows to come through the program. And he's made additional endowments and gifts to the university through endowments to the center and also the naming of Chellgren Hall. Next slide. So the vision of the center is to create and implement strategies for assuring that the institutional assets of the university, which is a land-grant university, has a world-class research experience and aligned to support undergraduate excellence. And so the next slide is what that really means. And so from a student standpoint, you read a vision statement, what does that mean? Well, it ultimately means bringing all the resources of the university together and promoting academics and then scholarships and professional development to build well-rounded individuals. And so to position yourselves for the next steps of your education and your career, ultimately become leaders in your disciplines to serve your professions, to serve your communities and beyond. And so we're creating that environment, and through the Chellgren Fellows Program is really to capture students in their second year to be part of that program. So the next slide. So how do we do this? So students, the trick here is that students, we make campus small. So we bring on student fellows who are, you're getting your academic development in your classes, in your majors. But we also build scholarship. So moving beyond just your classroom experiences. So getting involved in undergraduate research, contributing to expanding knowledge in your particular fields, interacting professionally with professors, other graduate students, and perhaps attend meetings associated with your disciplines, but also to develop and expand professionally and personally. So getting interview practices, practice having being in a formal interview dinner situation settings. Also expanding your horizons, attending art museums and gaining other additional enrichment types of experiences. Students often from the Chellgren Student Fellows Program qualify for academic honor societies. So those students would be exposed to these honor societies and to get additional involvement opportunities here on campus. And then ultimately, we have students that as they build their dossier, if they will, they become natural candidates for competitive awards, which some of these are listed here. These awards are highly prestigious, very competitive nationally, and these would be awards that one could, you would be, that would stay with you throughout your career. So those would be a feather in your cap, if you will. Next slide, please. So this Chellgren Student Fellows Program, I kind of already alluded to it. We make campus small. We bring in our cohort of Chellgren Fellows to provide academic enrichment. We help with planning, so you get some one-on-one input for your planning sessions, and then you get immersed in your profession early. You kind of become scholars. You get involved in research projects to move beyond the classroom, and you get hooked up with a faculty mentor, an expert in your particular discipline. We do this in your group together with your cohort. So everybody's going through this enrichment, planning, scholarship phases together at the same time. So you're building camaraderie with a cohort of students in the same year as you. So how we do this is we designate a credit hour course for academic enrichment. So it's protected time in the fall and spring to meet and to come together. And then you would be involved in your scholarly research, independent research projects, starting in the fall of your second year on campus, and then certainly through the spring semester. Next slide. So why does it matter? Well, ultimately it matters is that you're building yourself, you're preparing yourself for the next stages of your career, right? Ultimately to become ideally a leader in your career. And this gives you the opportunities to help grow professionally and academically to serve your professions, communities, and beyond. And so this idea here at the very bottom, you're preparing yourselves to put yourselves in a position to ultimately give back. And that's a big hallmark of the Chellgren Fellows Program, is to give back. And so next slide. Am I eligible? All right, so the application process. Are you currently a first-year student? Are you interested in learning more about working with UK's top faculty and research? And are you aiming down the road to apply for nationally competitive awards, which we've had some success with the Astronaut Scholarship, Fulbright Award, Rhodes Scholarships, etc. Next slide. If you answered yes to any one of these questions, you are eligible and encouraged to apply. And so before we move on, I want to just bring this point up. You have here at the University of Kentucky, and the whole point of the Chellgren Fellows Program is you have right here in Lexington, Kentucky, the opportunity to have a world-class education experience. You have that all in front of you. And it's about you wanting to go out and go get these opportunities to build your, beyond the classroom, to get you prepared for the next stages of career. And so, if you're interested in getting everything you can out of the University of Kentucky experience academically to build your professional selves, develop professionally and personally into those areas, we would be interested in you applying. Next slide. The timeline. We start our application process today after the information session, and we will have a window here until March 6th, and then we'll start reviewing those applications and go through the application process. Some candidates might be selected for interviews, and then around the 28th of March, we'll have a new cohort announced. Next slide. Some requirements. We mentioned the credit hour class. That's just a meeting time for enrichment. Those will be Wednesday late in the early evening or late afternoon. And there'll be other events to participate in after those times. And then we'll have a expectation form as well. And so here's a sample of some of those expectations, including attending the classes, being courteous, right? Responding professionally if you're unable to make something. Attend events. We think these are important, including a welcome reception in the fall, and then making plans for beyond the Chellgren program. All right, next slide. So to have some firsthand experience of the Chellgren Fellow experience, we have three previous Chellgren Fellows, Emily, Kennedy, and Isha, here to give a little bit of their firsthand experience of the Chellgren Fellows program. And so we'll start with Emily, a 2020 fellow, a senior in neuroscience. That's hard to believe, a senior, because I know Emily. Emily, would you mind sharing a little bit about your experience with the Chellgren Fellows program to the interested applicants?
Yes, of course. So I am Emily Guerrero, and I'm a senior. Oh, well, I'm a junior, and I will be graduating next year.
Okay.
And I'm
She's in my lab.
so, yes. Well, I'm a neuroscience major, and I'm on the pre-med track. And as Dr. Bradley said, I was a part of the 2020 cohort for the Chellgren program. And essentially, when I applied, I'm a first generation college student. So I applied to this program specifically because when I came in, I had very little experience in research. And I had very minimal idea of where to start or how to get into these opportunities and starting to look for things in the work field and in our community. So I feel like when I started the program, they were able to give us a lot of tools in classes that were able to help us improve in building our resumes or being able to network and communicate with people in our communities, and also being able to learn and navigate how to do research and reach out to professors. For me, one of the experiences that I had that was really helpful was the mock interviews that we did, where we were able to practice learning how to understand how to answer specific questions, and being able to do it in an environment where we can make mistakes and then learn from them and improve. And also those kinds of skills were really beneficial for applying to other scholarships and competitive programs. And during my time in Chellgren, we were expected to do research. So I reached out to Dr. Bradley, and I've been in his research lab ever since. And I was doing research during the pandemic, so most of our lab experience has been online. But our research was essentially being able to take protein mutation sequences that are associated to diseases. And one of the diseases that I was looking into was Parkinson's disease, and being able to use it with a data sonification program to be able to convert the sequences into music in order to create it as a learning tool for younger students. And it's been really exciting, and I've been able to do it during the summer as well. So I've been doing that ever since my second semester as a sophomore. So yeah, those have been my experiences, and I've just found the Chellgren program to be overall so beneficial in all aspects, and I've loved my experiences. So if you all have any questions, feel free to reach out. I can send my email if you need to, but yeah, that's what I would like to say.
Thanks, Emily.
Mhm.
Kennedy?
Hi, thank you guys for having me. My name is Kennedy Brown. I was also a 2020 Cello. Next year, I'll be going into my senior year, and I'm a human health science major on the pre-medical track. So similar to Emily, this is pretty much my first research experience, and I just want to thank the Chellgren Fellowship for allowing me that opportunity. During my year, my research was about program proposals used to decrease hypertension in African-American women. So my research mentor was Dr. Brandy White, and we looked at women who lived in public housing and kind of how their living circumstances correlated with how they develop hypertension. So it was very interesting to me because I want to go into women's health and, you know, focus heavily on that aspect of healthcare. So when joining the Chellgren Fellowship, I'm always looking for ways that we're kind of going to benefit me in my professional, personal, and academic career. So if you feel like this is something that's going to help you develop as a student, then I would definitely say go ahead and apply. So in the program, you even learn how to ask for research mentors, because there's a specific way on kind of how you go about that, and you just don't want to do it wrong or anything like that. And then mock interviews are also very helpful because as you go on throughout your college career, you'll be interviewing for a lot of different things, whether it's summer internships, jobs. And so the skills that you develop will be helpful for you throughout pretty much the rest of your life. And then this summer, I'm going to continue doing research. So I've recently applied to the Markey Cancer Research Program, and then I've also applied to the Meharry Summer Cancer Research Program as well. So one is here in Lexington, and then another one is in Nashville. So those are just some of the ways the Chellgren Fellowship has helped me. And, you know, hopefully I secure those summer internships, and I hope that you guys apply. And I can also share my email if you have any questions.
Thank you, Kennedy. Isha.
Hi, everyone. My name is Isha, and I'm a sophomore bio major. And I was actually inspired to join the Chellgren Student Fellows because of a previous cello. I kind of saw all of their accomplishments, and I was like, that's incredible. And so I wanted to be a part of that. I am working towards pursuing a PhD, and there's not a lot of opportunities on campus that talk about the process of going into a PhD, of getting into grad school, of what they look for. And so being part of Cellos, they actually do talk about that process of getting into grad school. And they introduced me to people like Dr. Sally and Dr. Whitlow, who have helped me a lot in tackling all of these applications that will kind of make me look better in my application to grad school, and that I can use to leverage different opportunities. I participated in research last summer, and it was founded by or funded by the National Science Foundation, and they kind of taught me to leverage that whenever I write about applications or whenever I interview. And so the Chellgren program has been really important in helping me utilize the opportunities that I've had and use them in unique and different ways. I was also introduced to research presentations through Cellos. So the Chellgren Student Fellows requires you to participate in a research course. And at the end of that, you have to give a presentation of some sort. So being introduced to that was a new experience to me. And it's been great learning that process. And I also think that the friendships that I've made through the Chellgren Student Fellows has been absolutely incredible. I look forward to going to class on Wednesday and seeing all of my cello friends and just hanging out with them. It's been really fun. So it's a great community and it's a great opportunity. And if you have any questions, just reach out to me and I would be happy to let you know.
Super. Thank you, Isha. Does anybody online here have any questions for our panel that want to ask about the application, anything that you might have? I know it's a tough setting, but
I have a question.
yeah, great, thank you.
I saw on one of the emails that applications require an internship. What all is expected to be on there? What did these three current cellos have on it that helped them get accepted? Can you hear me?
I think it cut out on my end about the there's a requirement. I missed the part that you mentioned there. I'm sorry.
Resume requirement. I just wonder what should be on a resume to be given a chance to join.
A resume requirement.
I mean, your resume is your resume. It's going to include what you want us to know about you and what you've participated in. We don't have any certain requirement that we're looking for on your resume.
Yeah.
Okay.
anytime you have a resume or, that's your space to kind of tell us a little bit about yourself and, use it, always you want to put stuff in there that, you want to share with us, right? Your experiences. Any other panel, Emily?
I think
Kennedy?
Emily had a question.
There's another question.
I thought, Emily, did you have a question?
You want to,
Oh, no.
There you go.
okay. Does the
But
panel have anything they want to, any advice on the application?
I have a question if you don't mind.
Sure.
Is there any like prior knowledge that we should have coming into this, or like, are we expected to have something under our belt already for this, or is it like a really good like introduction to a lot of things?
It's a really great introduction. You definitely don't have to have, a lot of opportunities. If you're part of a couple clubs, that's awesome. But, if you don't have anything under your belt, it's not a big deal. They teach you so well, and they introduce you to just so many opportunities that it's, very versatile.
Thank you.
Yeah, and just to add on to that, I think it's more so about kind of your desire to pursue kind of research and just getting that experience. So as long as you're passionate and you have the drive to be a part of the fellowship, then that's more important than what you've already done. Because this is going to give you that experience since you've only been at UK for a year. So
And we can say that it's open to all majors in all colleges. Research is available in every area on campus. We do have a question in the chat. It says, how many people are accepted each year to the program? Dr. Whitlow can probably expand on this. We do not have a set number. We just look at applications, and we've had anywhere from 15 to 60 in the program over the past 15 years. Is that right, Dr. Whitlow?
Yes, I just wanted to mention that in response to just a couple of the past questions and things that people have brought up, in terms of if you're concerned about a resume, one, we will help you look at resumes and CVs in the program so that we do that and give advice. And part of what we want to do is help students have a stronger presentation. And so that is why there are interviews and resume reviews. And that's all part of it. Is we want to help you put all of the good work that you're doing out there so that it helps advance you in the ways that Emily and Kennedy and Isha have talked about. I also want to acknowledge from our three panelists, they've all been, I think, assertive and self-directed in finding opportunities for themselves and staying involved with research during very difficult semesters with COVID and the restrictions that have been placed on students. Kennedy is applying for these special opportunities to do research and have preparation for attending medical school. And Emily continued to be able to work on special projects with Dr. Bradley, and Isha, was in Vermont last summer on a research opportunity. And we're happy to, we didn't get those opportunities for them. What we tried to do is help the students learn about different opportunities. What we try to do is say that we'll read applications and we'll read personal statements and we'll talk to you about what makes a good one. So we're trying to be a support team for you and provide the information that you need. And we have some things that we think are helpful, but I think we're also very open to students saying, I need you to help me do this, right? This is what I want to do in my career. And can you help me work out some steps that will help me as I move toward that career? So it doesn't have to look exactly the same for every single student. The class will look the same, but the advising and meetings with different individuals, some of you might spend more time speaking with Dr. Bradley. Some of you might speak more to Emily and I or Lynn. The other thing I'd like to mention to students is the last 2 years have been hard, I think, on the cellos and on us because of the way the program had to change to accommodate the circumstances that we've all been in. And so we haven't had as much opportunity to actually see cellos and just sit and talk to cellos. And we haven't had, we didn't have the opportunity to get on a bus and go see something together, you know, or tour a museum. So there are, you know, I think for Emily and Kennedy and Isha, in some ways, they've been very, very successful, but I also think the cello program has looked different for them than it did for students that were in the program 3 or 4 or 5 years ago or 10 years ago, right? And so I just want to say to the current applicants or people who are considering it, we really believe that we will be in a position to go back to having more personal interaction and more face-to-face interactions and more group interactions. And I think that is also one of the very nice elements. I believe it was Isha mentioned having the opportunity to come to class and be with her cohort, and that's a great pleasure too, because we select cellos widely, you know, from across the campus, from across variety of majors who want to do a lot of different things in their life, and then we put you guys together, you know, and so it's amazing the interactions that you can have with other Chellgren fellows who are planning to do things that are very different than what you're planning. And I think that's one of the strongest elements of the program as well. And so I probably talked more than I meant to, and I'll step back. And I think Harrison has a question. Yeah. I see a hand up there.
Go ahead, Harrison.
Hello. I have a question. Either the panel or whoever feels like they're best can answer it. If I'm already involved in research as a freshman, do you think Chellgren is still worth applying to? Because I'm interested in the opportunities like, I guess, like, whenever I have questions, I know who to ask, and like to further be more well-rounded. And as you all were saying, but is this targeted towards people who aren't in research already?
Anybody in the panel?
Sorry. So I was already involved in research too when I was a freshman before I came in, and being in cellos has actually helped so much because I get to be around like students who are also in their like very first time doing a research experience. And so I can like turn to them and be like, does your research mentor do this too? And they're like, yes. And so then you can like have that shared experience and get to talk to people about something that's kind of unique. You know, if you aren't in a community where you can regularly see people who are engaged in research. And it also gives you more opportunities to look at different like programs that like use research. So for example, they talk about a lot of nationally competitive awards that really enjoy having people who have done research or have had research experiences. So that way you get opportunities catered to what you've already done being shown in your cellos class.
Thank you so much.
It's like Lily.
Go ahead.
Hi, so I'm planning to study abroad next year for a semester. So is this program possible for me or no?
Do you already have do you know for sure that you're already going abroad, or you're planning to go abroad?
I'm in the planning processes right now, but I really want to do it.
Okay. So, I mean, filling out an application is not going to inhibit you from traveling abroad, obviously, but we do, things could change between now and the fall. But typically we want you here during your year that you're in the Chellgren program. So you benefit from the full program, and that would be getting the enrichment in the fall, and or starting your research even in the fall, because you possibly could, and then finish it into the spring semester. That's how we have typically done it. Dr. Whitlow.
Yeah, I would like to go back and just respond a little bit to Harrison and Lily as well. Just to point out what we're involved, Emily and I are involved with the Chellgren program and we love it, but you don't have to be a Chellgren fellow to use the services of Nationally Competitive Awards. And so, and also Chellgren does public programming that students can participate in. So we actually offer wider services into the larger campus, both the Chellgren Center and Nationally Competitive Awards. We are not only dedicated to the cellos, as wonderful and special as we think they are, we also have other students that we're working with. And so I want to say to you, if you can't participate in the program in the fall because you're going to study abroad, that doesn't mean you can't work with us on competitive awards. And you know, you might be a great person who wants to go do a Fulbright someday, Lily. So I hope you'll come back and talk to me about that. And Harrison, if you think because you're already in your research and you feel like you already have that relationship developed, that's fine. You know what I mean? We can still help you with research awards and talk to you about graduate school planning. I mean, the Chellgren program is wonderful, but we can't take every single second year student at UK. And for some of you, you may be very much enmeshed and embedded in other experiences already. The one thing I think that we in the past have said to students is don't make this just another resume notch. We really want it to be a program that works for you and that you work in and that you want it for reasons because you have some things you want to accomplish and think that we can help you get some information that you need, get some coaching that you need, get some support that you need. But there are other ways to do that too. There are lots and lots of things that go on at UK that are very special and wonderful. And we think Chellgren is one of them. But we also know that there are other things that you might be doing that make it so that you don't have a lot of time to give to another experience like Chellgren. And so we want you to consider your motivation and your time as well. We don't ask for you to be, you know, we're not having you do something every day, but, you know, the research takes time. Thinking about your next career steps takes time. We do have some events we like you to attend. So there is some requirement for participation. It's not just another accolade on your resume.
Any other questions? You know, I think, you know, the Chellgren Fellows program is geared to really, you know, for those second year students that want to get more out of their time here at UK, to build their experiences, to build their scholarship, to grow more professionally, get some additional experiences, and to really work within, you know, a cohort, a community, to have a tighter knit group as you march through these next exciting stages of your academics. And so, you know, it's an exciting time. It's an exciting time. And I think another thing to think about, and this goes for everybody here, you know, you need to think of your next steps in your trainings and your careers as you are your own CEO, right? CEO of your company, and you're putting your team together to kind of get you ready for the next steps. And, you know, we might be that team. And so, you know, just to think about that as, you know, what do you need to get to the next steps of your training and career? I see a lot of things in the chat, so I assume those are being
I'm answering them. I can read them out as well.
Okay, very good. Well, that's, yeah.
3 hours.
Is there any other questions in particular for our panelists here?
I would just add to one of Lynn's answers. We in the past have had the research experience be pretty much only in the spring, I think. That's been the 3-credit course for you, the research course. We are looking at the possibility of trying to move you into research perhaps a little bit earlier in the fall. That would obviously be a new thing for us, but helping you find a research mentor a little earlier and get started perhaps, because what we find is that, you know, it's hard if you're only doing a spring term to then have enough research in and enough data to be able to present at the showcase in the spring. And Dr. Bradley knows about that because he's prepared a number of students over the years. And so maybe having a little extra time, if we could get you started in the fall, you wouldn't necessarily have to be in an additional credit hour course, but it would just be that you would be getting started, and then you would have a longer time to make progress on your project before you went to the showcase in late April.
And as I stated in the next one, it's really up to you and your mentor to the final decisions and things like that, and what they have for you to do. There's also the question, it says, how much do we get to choose regarding the topic of focus of our research? And are we assigned to a lab?
And that question is, we want you to pursue your interest.
Yeah.
Right. So it's not an assignment. You were to follow your academic curiosities and pursuits. And if you're passionate about what you're interested in, you know, that's the best combination for research and growing and developing. So we want you to follow your own interest, and we have quite a diverse group, you know, not just from all different departments on campus.
And we don't require you to do research in your major.
No.
So if you wanted to step outside that, I don't know, Dr. Bradley, if you've had students from probably a range of majors,
Yep,
right?
absolutely. Yep. Or let's say you want to, you're in a major and you're like, I've always been interested in this, but I'm not taking class, you know, to kind of get exposure to that and experience.
We have a list of current cellos as well as the past 15 years of students on our website and the things that they are involved in now. That's a good place to look to see all the different diversity that we have among the majors.
Any other questions? No? Okay, well, I guess we'll keep going. Thank you, panel, for sharing your experiences with the applicants here, interested applicants. We mentioned honor society, so I think a natural progression through your academic time is you know, your involvement with additional societies, honor societies, and affiliated with the Chellgren Center. We got 4 different honor societies shown here in different ranges of scholarship and leadership and academic excellence that you can be involved with. And we encourage that. Next slide. And then those students, often a lot of cellos progress to nationally competitive awards and are outstanding candidates. And so Dr. Whitlow will share with us a little bit about this program.
Yeah, and Emily, feel free to jump in as well. We just wanted to give you an idea about our office. I probably talked about it a little bit already, but we strongly encourage Chellgrens to think about competitive awards, and we would love for you to get started early thinking about it, because there is some preparation to do, and many of them do require a really strong sense of what you want to do in the future and steps that you've taken to prepare to get there. But it is also achievable by all of you, I can assure you. It just takes hard work and motivation. I don't know that any of you would have met Shemin, because she actually graduated and was out for a year working in the community before she applied, or before she received her Marshall. But she's now in London at the University College London, working on a degree in migration studies. And so she was a fabulous cello, and she was very decorated. She did an NSF REU, similar to what Isha did last summer. So what we really want you to know is that we are here. We are happy to work with you on those different awards. There are competitive awards in all academic fields across all majors. It is not a situation where they only apply for STEM students. And so we want you to understand that, and we're happy to talk with you about opportunities in international affairs or in service, or, so Chellgrens have been very successful at receiving competitive awards, and probably because through this program you hear about opportunities early and often. And we also do a lot of close mentoring of the Chellgren Fellows. So that's one of the things that we think we can offer as a benefit to the cellos. Emily, are there other things that I should mention?
I would just add that I would go ahead for all the students on the call to go ahead and follow us on social media, because we do post a lot of opportunities, probably daily, maybe a couple of a day, about opportunities that have upcoming deadlines. So definitely take advantage of that, because even if you are not planning to apply for one of these opportunities right now, you can start to kind of see what's out there and see what might be of interest to you.
But along those lines, there's a box there. In 2020, 11 Chellgren Fellows received competitive awards. That's a significant number. So that's fantastic, and that nurturing that could and awareness that you are putting yourselves in positions for things beyond UK is another strength of the fellowship program. Okay.
Right. And I think one more thing that's important to know is the more that we know about a student, the more we can reach out to students when we see these opportunities. And so as a Chellgren Fellow, we get to know you really closely, and we learn a lot about you and your interests. So if something kind of comes across our desk, we might think, oh, that particular student might be interested in this. So that's something that's really important as well.
Okay. That's a great point. So again, making campus small for additional opportunities is another aspect of it. Next slide. And then finally, we mentioned the vision of Mr. Chellgren and having a Chellgren Fellows program is to have cohorts of students march through their time here at UK to become leaders in their fields, and this has been going on now 15 years. And so we have alumni that are starting now to mature into their professions, and to you become part of a network of Chellgren Fellows, cellos. So currently we have 29 that are in the current cohort, but there's been 479 over the 15 years. There's been, from the faculty standpoint, 2 endowed chairs, 18 endowed professors who you'll be able to interact with, or these endowed professors the cellos get to interact with, and 5 faculty fellows for additional one-on-one interactions. But the cellos, after they've left University of Kentucky, they've attended some of the best schools in the world, as you can see here on this list, and have moved on to work in careers going from medicine to software engineering, business intelligence, I see here, and power platform developers, Google, Amazon, different corporations, and they're well on their way to advancing in their careers. And so you become a part of that alumni network, and that's it might become professionally beneficial down the road. And then it gives you a chance, as you advance in your careers, to give back to the next cohort. And so we want to build that sustainable pipeline into the alumni base there. And so next slide. We leave it open for questions, but certainly connect with us. Emily already did her plug, so I'll do our plug here for. We're on all social media. We got a Twitter handle, you name it, and same with competitive awards. You see the handles there, and we would be happy to answer any questions now, or we'll hang around to answer questions one-on-one if you wish. But It's been our pleasure to share a little bit about the Chellgren Fellows Program, the Chellgren Center, Nationally Competitive Awards with you. And, please reach out if you have any questions, or we'll be happy to answer them now.